The chief of Russia's Wagner mercenary group has agreed to halt his force movement and take further steps to de-escalate tensions with President Putin. While the deal comes less than a day after the threats began, Ukraine's president says the ordeal exposed the chaos inside the Russian military.
But it's the most dramatic military political confrontation in Russia in the last 30 years, since the time of the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s. I think Putin emerges from this significantly weakened. I think if you're a member of the Russian elite, or in fact a member of the Russian population, you're going to look at this and think, wow, a private army just drove on Moscow for most of the day. No one stopped them, and they're allowed to leave and no real consequences after the president went on TV and called what they were doing treason and made comparisons to 1917. If I'm an average Russian citizen, I'm thinking this guy who I thought was inevitable, there's no alternative to him. He's the strong man who brought Russia back from his knees. I'm thinking all of that doesn't look very convincing anymore. And of course, if you're Yevgeny Prigozhin, you need to get a new food taster and watch your back, because I would think a lot of people, including Putin, will be rather angry with what we saw here. And Putin often holds a grudge. He often wants to take revenge on those who he thinks stabbed him in the back, and that's exactly what he said this morning, was this is a stab in the back. So it's still too early to say how this is going to work out for Prigozhin. I would say a comeback is not out of the question. Him being dead, in a few weeks or months is also not out of the question, and many options in between.
Well, in my view, I don't think that Putin's reputation will suffer greatly, because Putin enjoys support inside the country. And yesterday, it has become clear when some of the armed forces refused to join the Wagner group, so Wagner's so-called rebellion. And I think in terms of resolving the situation, it didn't come to a big bloodshed. So Putin knew exactly which buttons to push, and he managed to sort the situation behind the scenes and let everything blow over.
For Wagner, this looks like it might be the end. Those Wagner troops who did not participate in this uprising are going to be integrated into the Ministry of Defense. Apparently, everyone else is being dismissed but not charged.